I 28 male don't know how to tell my wife 27 female I saw her messages with other men. My wife's health has recently deteriorated. She has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and anxiety. She has meds for this, but I've been wondering whether she's been taking them. She's been experiencing fits of fury about everything that doesn't go the way she wants or expects it to. I've been trying my best to calm her down, but she frequently becomes more violent as a result. She doesn't look at me, but she does toss and shatter stuff. I recently attempted to speak to her about it, and it went well. She said that she would inform her therapist and doctor about the situation and see what happens next. I felt extremely good that we may be able to turn things around. She's still been distant with me for a time, but I believed it was simply a part of what she's going through. She was getting ready for bed last night when she left her phone in the living room. I'm not the sort of person that would snoop through her phone or anything. When she began to get a slew of warnings, I had a peek at her phone. It was still closed, but she was receiving a lot of messages from individuals she knew on Kick. They were provocative and, at the very least, demonstrated that she is emotionally more attached with someone or others. From what I can tell, she hasn't been seeing anybody else, but I'm not positive. How can I approach her about this? I'm trying to prevent a massive blow-up since she's been more unstable recently. Or should I think about my departure strategy? I've considered it, but I also want to know why she's doing this. Story 2. My F16 parents still live with their parents and want me to do the same. Dad said that if I don't, I'll never hear from him again. Dad's dad is a pastor of a church he started, and my dad is his assistant pastor while Dad's dad's wife homeschooled me. Owen, my father's father, is the senior pastor of his church. He founded the church and owns the building, while his wife oversees the women's ministry. My father, John, is one of his associate pastors, and my mother assists with the children's ministry. I also have a brother, M21, who is presently in school and still lives with us at my father's house, and he is a member of our church's band rotation. I also have an 11-year-old younger sister. On our busiest Sundays, we may have 600 people. So we're not little, but we're also not huge. Owen inherits a little sum of money from his father. Owen's parents, according to Dad, helped pay for the majority of the building when Owen graduated from Bible school when he was younger, and he also owns a rather large house. However, when I informed them that I want to go to school out of state when the time comes, it erupted into an argument in which my father said that I wasn't appreciative for the opportunity my elder brother had. He doesn't have to pay rent or purchase petrol as long as he goes to church. Dad got him a new automobile and he didn't have to pay a dime. However, there were certain strings linked to it. We had to be active in some form of ministry in addition to coming to church on Sundays if we wanted to acquire those items. When my brother was in high school, he was in the youth band, and we were also homeschooled by Owen's wife. My brother went there on a Friday night since he was in the youth band. But he had to obey their rules for those things as well. He couldn't date until they granted him permission, and when he did, Dad let him since she was from his youth group, and he didn't want us dating anybody outside of it, which was part of the reason we were homeschooled as well. Aside from periodic parental control meetings to look over our browser history if anything they didn't like came up, we also had to complete purity screenings, which could be anything from getting older to random phone checks with text logs. I'm not a religious person. Our house, despite its size, is really tight. And if I ever disagree with whatever Dad says, he'll have me speak to Owen after he's had enough. And Owen is very stern and doesn't hold back at all. You are not permitted to disagree, and if you do, he will inform Owen. Even being in the same room with Owen while he watches TV is vexing since he's arrogant and constantly attempts to impose his views on you. He's spoken to us about how being straight is part of being pure, and he's also given a sermon in which he slammed individuals who were coming out and labeled them dumb. When I disagree with Dad, he turns to Owen to parent us, and I've been yelled out by him as well. My parents never let me do it, but they let Owen do it, and even though it's been years, it still bothers me. Dad claims we've made it, since most people don't get a free ride from their parents, but I honestly feel imprisoned. It's not only my parents, but also my father's parents. Dad stated if I left, I won't be allowed to return, and although I don't want to return, he also said he wouldn't speak to me again and would tell others in the church. I still want to go to college and live in a dorm, but I don't have any friends outside of church, and I'm frightened of being lonely afterwards. But I can't remain since I'm already lonely at home and sick of Owen acting as my second father. Plus, they stated they won't give me the paperwork I need to start working after our dispute. Is there a method for me to acquire them on my own online so that I can start making money, or do I have to suck up to them to get the papers, and can I earn a scholarship without their help? Is it possible for me to acquire one if I am homeschooled? Story 3. Found panties that aren't mine in BF drawer. For the last 4 years, I, F27, have been with my BF, 28M. We've been living together for 3 years. I was doing the laundry as normal a few days ago when I opened his underwear drawer and saw a pair of pants that were plainly not mine sitting right on top. I say this emphatically since they were an extra small, which is not and has never been my size. Our relationship is going well, and I have no reason to suspect he's cheating. We both work from home. It would be extremely hard to hide that. I asked him gently what they were right away. He first lied, claiming he didn't know. Then he stated that he discovered them on the floor next to the machine after returning there to fetch some socks he had dropped. But when I insisted that they weren't mine, he said that he knew, but he had a panty-smelling obsession. He said he noticed them and just placed them in his drawer, which explains why they were right on top with no effort to hide them. It's becoming a bit more complex now. I'm ready to accept the panty fetish and go on, but I'm stumped as to whose panties they are. I called my former roommate, 25F, who says they aren't hers and she hasn't seen them. I also called my new roommate, 23M, and his girlfriend, who visits from time to time. They aren't hers either, and my roommate verified that he hasn't had any other ladies in the flat. I'm not sure whether they're from a past tenant since the flat is quite new. We've been here for 3 years. I've only told a few people since I don't want to embarrass my partner if it's simply a panty-smelling habit. I adore him and see spending the rest of my life with him. My therapist believes he would not cheat on me, that it is implausible, and that I should let it go. Several of my pals disagree. I want to let it go so badly, but I know those panties didn't emerge out of nowhere. I honestly don't know what to think. I came here to write it down and seek some feedback. In our apartment, we have our own washing and dryer. It's in our common guest bathroom, which we only share with our roommate. Story 4. My lover 25 male had sex with a minor 15 female. I need your assistance since I'm at a loss for what to do and my heart is in shambles right now. My head aches so terribly that I can't think well. Here's how it goes. 1 year ago, I, 19F, fell in love with that guy. It was love at first sight for both of them. But everything was so convoluted that we couldn't be together, no matter how much we loved one another. The age gap was too great, I was sad, and he wanted an open relationship, which I couldn't agree to. We said our goodbyes in a hushed tone. We decided to visit one another without any pressure and with a lot of compassion a year later. But he recently informed me that he had sex with a 15-year-old girl this summer. I spoke to him and told him I wasn't good with it, but he continued saying on the issue that I don't understand anything, that I'm so stupid, and that everything is my fault. Just because I don't think it's right for him to take advantage of children that young. It's been 2 days and all I've done is weep. I'm terrified of saying the term. I adore him, but I can't deny what he did. Reddit, I'm in agony. Please help me think again.